Beyond Bulletin courtesy of Lian Atieno, Ryan Odhiambo, Jared Kwe. Don't miss to catch up with the latest trends. Top-notch media, home of news.
The government has now graduated from tear-gassing government critics to now tear-gassing innocent students. Now, this week, the trending topic is Echoes of War, written by Cleophas Malala, former Kakamega senator. Now, let us look at the synopsis of this Echoes of War that is bringing controversy right now in Kenya. Jared.
I think the synopsis of Echoes of the War is that there exists a natural balance between respect for the old and the care for the young. And this synopsis, further information is that those who are older bring experience, while those who are young bring enthusiasm and creative innovation. This is the relationship that weaves together over evolving society. This play is a hyperbole attempt to illustrate the widowing gap between two generations, the old and the young. The artistic context is set to the Royal Velvet Emirates, in a kingdom in the middle of the Middle East. In this kingdom, the old have quickly lost trust over the young generation, of which the young generation are agitated by the inflexible strictness of the old. The balance is an inevitable compromise.
Now, moreover, to add on that, young people are fighting corrupt leaders using technology to seek change. Young people are stepping out to fix things. For instance, during the anti-government protests, Gen Zs came out to protest. They didn't want the Finance Bill 2024, and there was a protest. And when you look at this synopsis and you relate what happened, it just seems the same. Brian, what can you say about it?
Okay, thank you, Lian. And I think the artistic nature of the literature is always to ensure that the society is always in line with human rights. And if someone tries to explain him or herself about something that you're doing within the community or the society through what we call as fasihi, it is always allowed by artistic acts. So I think when the students are trying to tell the government that what they are doing, or high taxation, the SHA, the SHIF, the new funding model, we also have the housing levy, which indeed the SHA is not working. You know, that is the thing, that the realistic nature of SHA is that it's not working. But you find that the Gen Zs have decided on their side to make sure that they go to the street to protest, but it ended nowhere. You find that these things are still continuing to be forced into the citizens, yet the citizens doesn't want them. And then now is whereby it's pushing some of the leaders, the likes of Cleophas Malala, the former senator of Kakamega. He decided to write a book so that he can express the feeling. And I saw something the other day when someone was saying that if tear-gassing the children, because there are children who are tear-gassed that day when the former senator was blocked from entering the performance theater. Someone was saying that now the fight is extending to the students, young students. You're now tear-gassing people who are still underage or people who are not still adults. As long as you're there and you are not over 18, you're still a child. So tear-gassing children is a big no.
Remember, the play was dropped from the Western Regional Winners Gala. And the school drama was told to take the 50 students who were involved in the participation to go home. But on 3rd April, Justice Okwanyi directed Butere High School to recall the 50 students who were involved in the play to prepare for the play. And remember, the judge also said that he suspended any form of communication that will stop the students from participating. And now, after that, we saw what transpired. Cleophas Malala was blocked from entering where the girls were for them to rehearse. We all know very well that for a play to be successful, we must have that person who will help the students to rehearse for a better preparation, right? Now, I wonder why the political class is transferring their anger to young generation. What can you say about that?
Yesterday I had the Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen, right?
Yeah.
Saying that the former SG for UDA brought politics to schools, you see?
Yeah.
Because, but on the other side, let's be realistic. The former SG has been writing these scripts for a long time.
Yeah.
Of which, if you guys remember back in the days when you were in high school, during the drama festivals, you find that the one who is maybe the script writer or the director, maybe is not a teacher.
And that is that has always been the trend.
Yeah. So I don't see any big deal Cleophas Malala being the director of that script and helping those girls of Butere girls, you see. So I don't see any politics in it. Maybe Brian can emphasize on it.
Thank you, Jared. And then I would like to ask something, because if someone comes on the public then tells you that you are a politician, you are not supposed to write, then remember the same people. I'm going to ask you a very simple question, Liane, and you're going to tell me a realistic answer. Let's take an example of the health CS. He's called Aden Duale. Is he a doctor? He's not a doctor. He's not a doctor. Now, if you want to confirm or you want to justify that a politician is getting into politics through the students, and then now you want to say that person is not a teacher, is a politician, he should not write the books because he's not a teacher. Yet you yourself, you're within that government, but you've been given the health docket, but you're not a doctor. So at the end of the day, you ask yourself that the other person is doing this. Why are you only checking on this other side, but you're not checking on the other side as well?
The current government is always about pointing fingers, even though you know that what is happening is not right. That is currently the situation in Kenya. And let us take an example. We all did Tamthilia ya Kigogo. Now I wonder if that book would have been acted in Nakuru, will have, the same event that happened when Echoes of War was supposed to be performed. I think that same thing would have happened when Kigogo would have been given a chance to be performed, because the things that are in Kigogo are relating. That's why I don't know what is happening right now, because when you try to air something or when you try to convey a message concerning something that you don't like, something negatives come out from it. Now, remember there were some instances when people who are generating AI images were being abducted. Now, when you want to relate the Echoes of War, it is being stopped from being played, because when you look at the synopsis relates deeply with what is happening in Kenya, and you can confirm that. Now, let's take an instance. We all know that journalists are expected to gather and disseminate news, and ever since the anti-government protests, journalists have been crying. The tear gas have been aiming them. Like, for instance, yesterday something happened to a journalist.
Not only yesterday, but remember those days where the agencies went to street. I can remember a journalist from TV47, right? Who was it TV47? It was for TV47. Yeah, there were many journalists who were somehow the government plus the police officers went contrary to their code of conduct. Yeah, not only yesterday.
So now, can we say that Cleophas Malala was using the students to convey a message, or it was just a piece of art?
Now, I think unlike other, I think it's like other writers, we've taken an example of Kigogo, which was written by Pauline Kael. If we take the same example, because if you check the context of the writing of Echoes of War, it's almost similar to Kigogo, which was written some ways years back. But the big question is, was Pauline Kael arrested?
Was she tear gassed?
Was she tear gassed? Was she told that you are not allowed to perform this play? Because when I was in school, I used to see there were a lot of people who used to come and perform for us that book, and we used to pay, and they were being allowed. And actually, most of people are earning through this. So, first thing, the artistic nature of writing is always the art of writing is always paying, not only to the writer but also to other stakeholders like the performers, the children, and it also sharpens the skills of the students on literature. So if Pauline Kael was not arrested during those times, and during those times when this book was written, it was not the president who was on power, William Ruto, it was on another person's tenure or another person's regime, and he never arrested the author of the book, Pauline Kael. But why is it that now it is Cleophas Malala who have written this? It is now becoming a problem, and people are being told that they are not supposed to perform this book, or what he is doing is wrong. And actually, you're going to realize one thing, Leanne and Jared, that these students, they are working in solidarity, because you see, if the Butere girls were not allowed to come to the theater plus their teacher or their director, who is Cleophas Malala, they were not allowed to come. Now the students decided that they are not going to perform, and that is what they decided, and they were chanting Ruto must go slogan. And this slogan has been passing from generation to generation. It's now passing from Gen Z. The other day I was seeing a certain video of Gen Alpha, young small children who are within a certain school. They are chanting Ruto must go, Ruto must go. And the child is not even 10 years, doesn't know anything to do with economics. Now the child is growing knowing that Ruto must go is the anthem.
These issues of playwrights being somehow denied access to their students is not a new thing to this Kenyan government. I can remember a book by the name I Will Marry When I Want by Ngugi wa Thiong'o, right?
Yeah.
Those days the president, I think, was it Mzee Moi or Daniel Moi? Mzee Jomo Kenyatta or Moi? At that time, you find these the author of the book, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, at that time was forced to flee for freedom, because the president of that time had some restriction, because the book was against the government. So it's not a new thing. And then coming to Echoes of War by Cleophas Malala, let's consider and ask ourselves, what about if the book was written by someone, maybe me? Mm-hmm. Will the stories be the same?
I think it will be the same. It will be the same.
I think also, if I continue further on, this is like beating a bird with a single stone, you see, because he is a Remember, when Cleophas Malala was the SG to UDA, there was no such issues. He was not addressing the issues of the government, because he was in the government. But right now, because there was some difference between the president and the former deputy president, right now you find him writing a book so that to criticize the government. The question is, where was him at that moment?
Remember, he said he wrote that book when he was still in government, right?
Yeah.
And do you know what is so painful? Why involve innocent students who are there to showcase their talent through art? Of which it is not right. If they had issues, they were not supposed to involve students. They could have just tear-gassed Cleophas Malala alone if they had issues with Cleophas Malala. That is what I can say.
I think justification now applies to everyone, even children, even us here. Why should you come and tear gas me? If I have done an offense, there's always a procedural way of taking me to the court, then ask me, Ran, you've done this, why have you done this? You take me to the court when it happens that I've been found guilty. Let the law takes its path, and that is the way how to work.
Pardon my intrusion. I don't know what is currently happening. Ever since the finance bill was rejected, I don't think we are following Kenyan constitution, because in that constitution we have something known as freedom of speech. But what happens when you express yourself? You end up in ambiguous trouble with the government. Like, for example, Cleophas Malala was told he was released unconditionally without being told this and this happened. You see, they are not following the right protocol when it comes to arresting, and sometimes you are just arrested without even being told the offense you have done.
And again, you find that the police boss, Douglas Kanja, have not come out clear and tell us as Kenyans that which kind of group are engaging in the Gen Z's abductions. Because they are the intelligent part of this nation. They are one who should provide us with enough information on who is abducting our citizen, all right? Again, there's some weeks back where you find Kanja was there and participating in politics. You see, he was supporting the president, of which, as citizens, we expect that police should remain neutral.
Now, you know, all this drama started immediately after the impeachment. That is where the drama started. That is where you get the politicians, each and every person is now taking his or her political side, that me, I want to go this path. And actually, currently, there was a statement that I saw that was made by Kimani Ichung'wah, who was condemning the involvement of children into the political space. Now, you get that person A, let me give an example. The CS of Interior is talking about this matter in other political perspective. And remember, Ichung'wah is still within UDA, and they are still part of this government. Ichung'wah comes and criticizes the act which has been done. Now, can we ask ourselves and say that this is a political difference that is starting to happen within the UDA party, or what is happening? Because if we are within the same regime, then we talk two different things. Then, I mean, it's like we are clashing, or we are not having similar ideologies. Then,
it's like you are trying to hide the kind of political clashes you are having in your party, and that has been a normal thing. When you will definitely know when people are not in the same page. For instance, when former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, remember what they used to act when they were standing in the podium. When you compare their contest with President William Ruto, they were totally different, and that one raised a speculation that these guys, they were not united, and the truth came out, and definitely Gachagua was impeached. Yeah.
This issue of the echoes of war, as I finish, the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua with the allies, they are condemning the act, of course, and then most of people will assume that ODM is in the government. Now they should support the government. Everything that the government is doing, they should support. But that is not the case. The case is that the ODM condemned the act which happened the other day, and actually Sifuna and other ODM allies, just to mention a few, Sifuna, also Raila Odinga has also condemned, because most of most of the people are condemning. But if you see the people who are doing that thing, they also come in public to tell you that they are condemning. How would you condemn something that you are the one who is doing? I mean, it's not making, that is being hypocritical for heaven's sake. So this issue of fighting the children or tear gassing children, it is something which is against the constitution, and it's also against the Children's Act when it comes to education, and children should exercise the educational perspective of life or basic need without any interruption by the government or whosoever person.
Let me just pose a question. What's the work of a police officer?
Maintain peace and order.
Really?
Enforcing.
Aside from that, these tear gas that are being used to tear gas us, when they were being made, which motive were they having? I mean, if the police work is to maintain peace and order, those tear gas that they are using on us, they are supposed to be protecting us with those tear gas from people who are trying to attack us. I mean, if the police were to go, if the police were to go to the national event that was supposed to happen, where the Butere girls were supposed to perform, their main work was to ensure there is peace and order. And what happened? They are the ones who are ending up causing chaos by throwing tear gas up and down. Now, can we trust the police? We can't.
One thing I would like to say is that we can't blame the police, because they are just following orders. Those who we are supposed to blame are the heads of police, because I'm just a servant who is working after the commands given by their master. So they are working after the commands given by their boss. So the question should be raised towards the police boss, because the police boss is the one issuing orders to the junior officers. Okay. Maybe my brother Brian wants to say.
Okay, let me contradict with you a little bit, because it's okay for someone to do something. You have to follow orders, we agree, but remember one thing: you're a police officer. Yes, the solemn oath that you took when you are getting that job is to protect the law, irrespective of any other things that might come along the way. Now, you're a police officer, you understand how the constitution works. Then I come and tells you that, Lian, you're a police officer, I need you to kill Jared. You know that is wrong according to the constitution, right? And you took an oath that you will serve your country and you will obey that law. Now, if you are not obeying law, then you are taking an order from your senior boss, but you're doing the wrong thing. Then I think you are going against the oath which you took to protect your country against any attack, and obey the laws and also enforce the laws of this country, the constitution. So at certain level, I think it is also the responsibility of the police officers who are not those officials to also do what is right, and without any infringement from any other external forces that is coming along their duties. So I think that is the best way to go about this.
But let us just be honest, Brian.
You know,
if they refuse to follow orders, they will end up losing their job.
One thing Brian should know, the same oath they took it to follow the orders of their leaders. As a police officer, I'm telling you, because I know I have relatives in that department, you can't disobey the orders of your commander.
Remember, this is Beyond Bulletin in Top Notch Media KE. Subscribe and always stay tuned, because any trending topic will always be discussed in Top Notch Media KE.